have Cylakats established their final roster yet?
I believe Cylakats is running their starting 5.
Okay, because initially they had not decided between Joey and Bennett, so do you know which of the two it is? I guess Joey is call, so probably Joey.
Yeah, no, I think it's Joey. Cylakats said it was Joey.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it looks like it is normal starting roster for Cylakats, and Mimaw has Healy subbed out for Russ. I don't think it would be super controversial to say that that's a bit of a step down for Mimaw.
Right.
So we could see a weaker showing from them that we've been seeing, but in general, their team has been looking pretty strong. Same with Cylakats. I believe these two teams are both at 2-1 in the standings, so it should be a pretty close matchup to watch here.
You know, it's really interesting because Cylakats initially they had a bit of a rocky roster. I think their first 3 games were all with a different roster, but since then they've solidified, and I know they've played a lot of practice games together. Whereas Mimaw has had exponentially more inconsistency with the roster. Now they have more and more players, and not all of them able to practice all the time. They often are busy with jobs and life. So it'll be interesting to see if that plays a factor in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I will also say, while Cylakats' roster has, in terms of number of changes, has changed a lot. They basically have ran, the same core 4 players a lot. It's just that last one that's been swapping around a lot. Whereas I feel like Mimaw has had more, swapping over between stuff. The thing that I'm kind of looking at for this series is whether or not Cylakats will still be in good shape after not playing for so long, because they had an early week where they had double games and then kind of haven't played since then. So it has been a while since we've kind of seen this team play. Something to note is that both of these teams are technically tied for first, so whoever is going to win this game will clinch, or not clinch, but move into first place for the time being. And then the match between Kitten Grooming Service and Cavi's Kittens tomorrow would allow Kitten Grooming Service to potentially catch back up to first place to tie with whichever team wins this game. And then obviously if they lose their game, they'd be tied for second yeah. with whoever loses and Closeted Furries going into the last week of the first half.
And so we are moving into the second round robin without having completed the first one, but we're rolling
how as luck would be it, we actually I think are finishing the first one first. Not swearing to that or anything, but as it looks, that should be kind of how it
Jamley versus KGS. That's not happened.
Yeah, so the 3 remaining matchups are going to be Mimaws versus Closeted Furries, Cylakats versus Cappy's Kittens, and KGS versus Jamley. So that should be all next week, ideally speaking. And then we'd have a clean finish to the first round robin.
Right.
I will say it's not all the standings look pretty close, which is always pretty fun to see. I believe the draft is going to start at 7 for this game because they said they wanted to get started a little early. But I have not heard word from anyone, but I think we'll probably hear by the time we need to know.
Right. I know that Cylakats in particular are trying to make sure this game happens as expediently as possible. So we'll see if there's any hold up on the other side.
Yeah, we'll see if that also correlates, because I know sometimes I've definitely partaken in series where some people just want it to be over and they either go god mode and hard stomp, or that pressure kind of gets to them and they choke a little bit. So we'll kind of have to see if that happens or not.
Yeah, I think it's interesting for Cylakats because I think that on Mimaw's Kitten side, we have a lot of established players within the server, whereas Cylakats is mostly a newer team.
Yeah.
Noam's new Valor is new as a season player, and Jonah is in a new role for the
Same
first
with
time in Scrim.
Joey. Yeah.
Right, and so I think that I think from what we've seen, definitely working towards a different type of game style than when they first started, which I really love to see. I like to see teams really coming to their own and figure out what works for them. You know, we're not a pro league. We're not all just playing them at any given time. Players have preferences and skill sets that, you know, we need to figure out as we go. And I think that's something I really enjoy watching as seasons progress.
Speaking of seasons progressing, we do have a lot of power picks in the meta that are specifically played by Mimaw's Kittens players. I feel like, especially in that last series versus Kathy's, they end up getting a lot of the really good champions that they wanted. It's kind of interesting to see if they're going to adapt away from picking all those champions, because Kathy's kind of played around it correctly, I think, and they could have kind of exposed a flaw in their draft plan. But honestly, Mimaw is, if they're able to keep picking up these strong champions, the Swain and Seraphine especially, I think it could be really good for them to kind of keep securing those picks.
Right. I mean, we've seen from Cylakats the Seraphine from Noam. I believe he has a very, very, very good win rate on that pick. I'm not sure if it's 100%, but I think it's close. And that has been a very prevalent pick throughout the season. But Michaela especially is someone who is very comfortable on the champion. So it'll be interesting to see how the draft forms around that. I believe be a very tested pick.
Yeah, I mean, something that happened in the last series that I thought was intentional playing around the red side advantage was 3 prio picks were left up on red side, which means that ideally the blue side team should be able to pick one, and then red team should actually end up getting both of the other like high prio picks, just because of like how pick order works. So we could see Cylakats kind of leaving up a lot of the picks, which would allow Mimaws to get their favorite of the available champions, but it should also allow Cylakats to get 2 or just like 1 other of the contested picks. So it could be interesting. I also don't know what the prio will be on Sivir, because I know she's one of the champions that's really strong in the meta right now that also is still very viable, I guess, at our lower skill level, because Kalista, Draven, and Zeri, I feel like we don't necessarily have players that are good enough to pilot those as well as pro players.
Right.
But Sivir is kind of, you know, like brain dead, so...
Facts, that's why I play her.
Right, so we could see that come out. I know Mimaws prefers to grab that Swain AD carry, and it worked. I believe last time they ran the Sivir Swain matchup, it went hard in their favor. So we could see if they just gentleman that and try and pick up that Swain first and let the Sivir get picked up by the other team. I'm not entirely sure though. I'm gonna go throw a highlight up real quick.
Big.
We'll look at the highlighted matchup. It's actually what we were just talking about. I will share my screen to you, Jacob. All right, there you go. So it is between Dave and Silico in the bot lane. They've only played against each other once. It was the cursed Jhin versus Graves matchup, which resulted in an infinite KDA Jhin. I don't think they necessarily need to talk about that too much. I don't think it's super representative. I think what we can look at here is that in Silico's top 5 champions, we have the Nidalee, and in Dave's top 5 champions, we have both the Brand and Katarina. So neither of these players are super opposed to playing kind of like unconventional picks or champions in the bot lane, which could kind of create an interesting draft throughout the series. We'll also say Silico, 7 wins, 3 losses on the AD carry position is kind of terrifying, especially when paired with that 3.9 KD, but Dave's stats are not unimpressive either, so.
Right, I mean, both of these players are known for just being very versatile. I mean, they both play all over the map, they both play every champion in almost every role, so it'll be really interesting to see what kind of wacky matchups these players pull out and where in draft they place the priority on picking them. especially with the flex potential of these non-traditional picks that might potentially show up.
True. And speaking of people who kind of play every champion all around the map, we have Cam as our other spotlighted player, or as one of our spotlighted players. His most played champions are Taliyah, Sivir, Fizz, Wukong, and Pantheon. He has played 39 champions across 62 games, so averaging only about 1.5 games per champion.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
believe for the first few seasons he played unique champions every game. I'm
Yeah,
not sure about
I think there was like
that's
Fizz happened twice in one of the seasons or something, but he is a bit of a terrifying player to draft into because you never really know what he's going to pick. I think Wukong could be a good ban against this team just because it allows them to flex it into the jungle as well. I'm not sure
I will say
if Russ
a bit,
plays it top lane because I believe that's who's going to be playing top for them now, but I know Cam is definitely not opposed to playing Monkey in the mid lane, so.
a bit of insider info. I was playing games with Jonah earlier, and he was practicing the Wukong jungle, potentially steal it away. And he said the champion is brain dead enough that he is confident on it.
Fair. All right, I'm going to run through these last two pretty quickly. Just looking at Joey real quick. 36 games, only 11 champions, so kind of like the opposite of Cam. He's averaging about 3.5 games per champion instead of the 1.5, and he has a 58.3% win rate, and a pretty good 3.41 KD over that. It is hard for us to really know what he's comfortable playing top lane, because most of his games have been in the jungle.
Right.
And then on that note, we will swap to the champs to see what he has played in the top lane, and it looks like his scary champion in the top lane would be Cho'Gath. Jonah's Lilia has gotten like a lot of praise this season. He's been doing really, really well on it. 5.67 KD is kind of disgusting. I feel like it's mostly just been banned against him. And then,
I also think that he's been played into the Udyr matchup, which has been a priority in this server in particular, because there are two Udyr spammers.
True. I don't know if they were both against Udyr, though, to be fair.
I know at least one of them was. But very, very, very scary on the champion. Definitely worth watching out for. I feel like it's decently hard to ban Cylakats, because they have so much versatility. I feel like with Silico and Noam and Jonah, they just have a lot. And also, people aren't as familiar with Valor, myself included,
Right, I feel like he kind of just plays whatever's meta. That's the read I have on him personally.
Right.
I think it is kind of wasteful to throw bans against Joey or Jonah because they can kind of play whatever. Valor, if you just want to ban like a particular champion that's good in the meta that he plays, fair play. And for Silico and Noam, I feel like a lot of the picks that they'd probably end up picking, besides a few roaming champions for Noam specifically, it's tough to ban them out without banning heavily prioed picks for blue side. And then just real quick, down the side of Mimaw's Kittens, I think it's pretty hard to ban Cam and Dave. For Mimi, you might want to try and ban out like Seraphine, Soraka, maybe that Nami that they're highlighting. And then for Gould, you probably want to take out that Vi because he is a bit of a one-trick on it. I'm going to swap over to draft real quick. It should be starting soon.
On the note of the Vi ban, it's worth noting that it is definitely his most played champion in the server as well. However, in the games that have been played on the Vi, I believe they've all been heavily counterpicked, and he's gotten dumpstered.
I would disagree with that personally, but
I checked the statistics last time we played them.
I think it's also you kind of have to like. If we're looking at games with someone who played a bunch of games with Are You Winning Son, I think it's tough to kind of look at their stats and take them at face value. I know personally, as someone who casted a lot of the games, like his Vi always performed really well. Just gonna look real quick through them. The Lilia ban's pretty obvious. I think I mentioned that already. Yeah, Gould has had like probably like 1 or 2 of their 7 Vi games have actually been like bad games. Mostly they just perform well, and it's just they aren't able to close out the game.
That's why. Now looking through these games, that's what I got for looking at the win rate instead of the performances. Yeah, these are
done. Uh,
Well,
okay, Soraka and Swain are both banned away from Mimaw's Kittens. That makes sense. Yone is taken away from, I guess, Valor and or Joey. I'm not entirely sure. I think Valor plays a lot of Yasuo, so I'd assume that he probably also plays some Yone.
okay.
Not sure what the last ban for either team is going to be. Maybe Sivir from Mimaw's, and then maybe Seraphine from Cylakats, so I had to guess, but I don't think either of those are really like set in stone, and I don't think you're trolling if you ban anything else as either team. Looks like
Mm,
Mimaw's is actually going to ban away the Seraphine, which I thought they would end up first picking because that champion is still
right.
disgustingly strong. Silico is hovering the goofy Teemo ban. Uh,
Okay.
like a little bit of flame towards Mimaw's for like, why did they not ban it? Samira locked first pick. I okay,
Interesting.
okay.
Short range ADC first pick is
Yeah, I honestly don't really know what to think of this one. There's a lot of really, really strong AD carries in the meta, and they have chosen absolutely none of them. I think it could be interesting for them to have just ran back that draft from before, to be honest.
Mhm.
Michaela says her team is griefing her. We get to see Twitch locked in. That's so fun. Twitch is a one of the very strong champions right now.
Right.
I believe it is not actually the best into Samira, but I think they simply do not care. I'd love to see like a Lulu or Yumi paired up with it here.
Right. I think that the Samir pick is. I don't know how much Michaela's champion pool aligns with Samira as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
It's
Okay, so we do see
gonna be a
Lulu.
bit tough.
I know Yumi is prioed more in the meta right now, but either of those
Mhm.
champions are pretty good.
Aren't isn't Yumi actually not amazing? Did she get nerfed, or am I just not paying attention?
Then they Hotfix buffed her, but I think you're
Oh,
right. I think she's
I
probably
also
not
haven't played this game in like a week,
right.
so
I mean, her like enchanter type stuff got hit pretty hard, so I think it's a fair
Mm.
play.
Okay.
Looks
So
like
Cam,
Set is locked in. That's almost definitely for Russ. I think, unless we're seeing this at support. And then we have the Wukong locked in as a flex between Gulda and Cam or Russ here. Uh, Honestly, not entirely sure. I'm just kind of excited to see how the rest of the draft goes.
yeah, this is not at all how I was expecting this draft to
Yeah.
turn out
Okay.
so
And then
far.
Jonah picks up the Shyvana. That's pretty fair
Right.
play. I'm not honestly sure how well that does into Wukong specifically. I'd assume probably even or good. Um,
Right.
yeah, it looks like Shyvana has a decently good matchup into Wukong. I feel like she can just power farm better than he can, and then has about equal team fighting strength.
Mm.
Question mark. Not super sure on that one, so don't quote me or anything. The Yumi is taken away, so even though it has suffered that nerf, I think Cylakats still respecting
Yeah.
um, the strength of the pick. Although banning it into like a like, I would never be personally terrified of a like Yumi Samira lane, but it is
Right.
what it is.
I will
Um,
say on the set potential flex, I don't know if it's likely. 183 mastery on Michaela's set.
yeah, I mean, I
Oh.
I said that assuming that the condition would be that Michaela is playing a different lane, because I know Dave has played a lot of set support, um,
Mm.
and I do
No,
think it's
we have
really
seen
good with
Cam flex
Samira.
into the we have seen Cam flex into the AD carry role,
True.
and I know he is comfortable on Samira as well.
Yep. It looks like
Um,
Lux is banned away. Just another support taken away from Michaela's pool. I think Lux is one of the supports
I
that
believe,
fits into Michaela's pool that does complement the Samira decently well.
right, and I believe it is her top mastery champion. Um,
That doesn't sound wrong to me, but I also don't know off the top of my head. The Yasuo ban is another one of those champions that Valor just plays a lot of. While I have this pulled up, I'm looking at Valor. Yeah, his top mastery champion is Yasuo, and Michaela's top champion is
is
Lux.
Lux
So
by like
those tops are
100K? Oh
taken
my
away.
goodness.
Yeah, and we do get to
I
see
mean,
the styles taken away. Um,
mm,
that makes sense. You have Set Ultimate and Wukong Ultimate here. Silas is also just an insanely strong champion. If we
right.
see the Vayne top locked in versus the Set, ah, tragic. I do I do respect the hover. It looks like we're just gonna get Ornn into Set.
Okay. Good.
That's not actually one of my favorite matchups. I think it's pretty rough for the Ornn because Set's just gonna be able to pick you up and just drop you onto your entire team.
Right.
But if you're able to play it well as the Ornn, you're still gonna have good value just because you do outscale the Set. So it does
Right. I
put a
mean, with
little
the
bit of
Twitch,
Joey agency on Joey to play the matchup well, but.
with the Twitch, with the Shyvana, with the Orin, we're definitely looking at a very late game comp for Cylakats.
Yeah. Okay. We have 3 top laners locked in from Mimaw's Kittens. Like, let me know. I'd assume one of them is got to be mid, and we haven't seen the support, but it could be set support flex, and then I would have called it like way earlier, and I'm like crazy
True.
big brain, but I'm hoping that Cylakats just picks up a mid laner with a absolute butt ton of range.
Mm.
What?
Mm. Mm.
What?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
set support Samira. Okay. My hot heating flaming prediction is that this is Michaela playing Samira AD carry and Dave is playing set support. And
That is
then
also one
Cam
game.
is playing
80 carry.
Annie, Russ Mordekaiser, Gould Wukong.
Michaela does have M4 Annie.
No. I'm betting it is Michaela playing Samira. Like
She has mastery 1.
hard call.
I really hope. Well, it'd certainly be an interesting spectacle to watch.
I mean, I honestly would hope for Michaela's sake that they're not blind picking Annie in 2022. Like,
I mean, with the first half of the draft, I was pretty happy with what I was seeing from both teams. And then Cylakats like brought their comp together with, the late game scaling, and then Miwaw's Kittens just throwing a couple curveballs in there that I'm still processing.
yeah, I don't really know what what their team comp is. I mean, like, there's an outside chance you're able to like kind of
Who won draft?
I'm just confused.
No comment.
Wait, what?
I'm
What are the
just
roles?
confused.
Huh?
Who's
It's
playing
set,
what?
it's
Where?
set support, right?
I'm playing support.
Right, you're playing set support.
Right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Who's your AD carry?
I think your draft sucks. I
Yeah.
think you'd win the game in the first 8 minutes,
No,
but I
he's
think
the
if you
player.
don't, it's rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck. I do enjoy the captain, or the not even captain, just player hopping into the guesting. But
well,
yeah, I
this was
honestly,
certainly one of the drafts.
I'm like shook. Like, what are we looking at here? We have 3 bruisers of Samira and Annie into like insanely long range engage with Ornn. Like, if you do like AP Shyvana, like that range is disgusting as well.
Right.
And then like Victor Twitch, like you're just not touching anything here. And if you do manage to kind of catch someone out, like Lulu ulti's there, I will say like the one kind of saving grace they have is like Mordekaiser ultimate can kind of force you to be able to 1v1 one of these champions, which makes the range not matter as much. But this will certainly be an interesting game 1 to this series. Like,
yeah, I've personally been watching a bit of pro play recently. I've gotten onto that train a little bit, and
this is exactly like a pro play draft, right?
Yeah, it got me really it's quite a jolting difference between the two. However, I have seen some wacky pro drafts recently. So
yeah,
I'm still.
I'm like shook, man.
Yeah.
Is it Michaela mid? Like, what's the? Okay,
I
it
think
looks.
I really hope it's not the one game Samira.
It looks like it might be Michaela mid.
Yeah, she has more experience on the Annie.
I don't know, man. This is crazy. I was not expecting this at all. I think it's really fun to kind of watch this game happen, but at the same time, like, holy hell.
I mean, we have seen teams just wreak havoc with unusual comps.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's more usually in the ballpark of like, oh, I wasn't expecting this 1 or 2 picks, not like, oh, the entire team is.
Yeah, I mean, I will also say, like, I think that works better early in season, where you're able to kind of exploit teams like unfamiliarity with like, I guess, the other players on the team, and maybe not as much once teams have already shown that they know how to play with each other very well. But I don't know, man. I am honestly not processing this.
Yeah, it's
Mid lane should be insanely Victor favored, by the way, and then top lane should be pretty even. I want to say Twitch Lulu is probably the winning lane as well, but I don't want to swear to that.
I think that if we're seeing a Cam Dave bot, those are some really, really strong players. So it might flip the matchup. What might be externally expected.
Yeah, I mean, I also like have a lot of experience playing into Silico. Playing into him is extremely difficult to get any sort of punish onto him.
Yes,
specifically. Like, they might be able to exploit Noam a little bit, but I don't expect to see many deaths from Silico on lane. I mean, they could also just say, like, screw it, like, we will just commit, like, flash off cooldown on set onto Silico every single time and try and punish him for this pick, but I don't know, man.
I feel like we're definitely going to see a lot of value of the Hex Flash that the set is hopefully taking, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing for Mimaws is that if they are playing to get super far ahead in the Samira set bot lane, there aren't too many tools on the side of Cylakats that are able to like directly stop them. Like you have Shyvana ult, Polymorph, and then like Victor Field, because Orin CC isn't super immediate. And Lulu probably doesn't want to ult to stop the Samira. If there's like a low health target that the Samira's on, obviously that's a pretty easy way to handle it, but it's definitely not one of those comps that has just a champion that can click a single button and instantly stop Samira ult and kill her.
I mean, we have the Lulu polymorph, but there are a lot of other issues on that team that they don't have too many, like, no buttons.
Right. I mean, you probably want the poly to go onto the Wukong during his ultimate, like almost 100% of the time. I think if Michaela is able to get good like flash tibbers and stuff onto Silico and Valor during like the late game, I think that could be pretty big. But I also just think like Silica or Cylakats team comp is just built really, really well.
Yes.
And they should just focus on not mis-executing the early game, because this game goes late and they play their team fights well front to back. I think they shouldn't have any issues. I think that kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier, where they haven't played a formal series in a really long time. So rust could show in positioning and like weakness of their early game.
Right. It's hard, well, because you know they say like strategy games that one of the bigger things about like becoming a better player is, you know, learning from your past experiences so you don't have to think as much. You know, it goes for like chess, goes for like MOBAs. I'm having a hard time like processing this building analysis for this game, because there's a lot of first in this.
Yeah, I mean, looking at past performance on these champions, I feel like top lane and jungle are both pretty even. In jungle, they've both played this champion one time before to great success. And in the top lane, they've played it a couple games, and like the stats aren't looking like super crazy. Obviously, that doesn't mean too much. Or Ornn is mostly a weak side champion, so you're not gonna have like insane score lines unless you like pop the hell off.
Right.
Everyone else on Cylakats is first timing their champion. Michaela and Cam are first timing their champion in scrims, and Dave has played set support once with a 0.5 KD. Mildly unfortunate there, but
yeah.
And then looking at the player matchups, yeah, I thought so. There's no data for any of this. And then for the champ matchups, okay, I said the Samira Twitch matchup might be slightly favored to Samira, but at least in Scrim's history off one game, which shouldn't actually like mean anything. That appears to not be true. But that mid matchup kind of looks exactly how I think it would. For what it's worth, Annie is 0-6 in scrims all time, so it would be kind of interesting to see if we'll see a win from Annie here.
Right.
Looking at the specific game that's being referenced here, it was Blake into Stanley.
Hmm.
For what it's worth, I went 23-3-10 on Jin this game, so I don't know how much the mid lane matchup kind of affected the game, but Victor should be able to just stay safe and outrange. And Annie,
Right.
like, maybe can get like a flash stun, but Victor's usually tanky enough that that shouldn't just be an outright kill unless the Annie is like giga fed, which is hard for her to do when she's playing at a CS deficit
Right.
because of
Especially
the Victor.
with a mainly off-role player, you generally expect to see some more cautious play.
Yeah. Trying to find the Twitch Samira. Okay. I have found it. It was.
Oh, can you stream? I don't know if the game is like close to starting.
Yeah, you'll get to see it. Spectator delay's almost over. That was actually, I believe, in finals of season 1.
Ooh.
Will was on the Twitch there. I was playing Samira. This whole game just looks rough, but I don't know. I think that just kind of shows like if Twitch is able to get a lead, it's Twitch. He can kind of roll, but I will say I probably played like like garbage that game. So I think Samira probably does still have some good threat in there. I was also
Right.
playing Samira into a Leona, which is not super ideal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just some matchup data to kind of support things. I feel like Lulu does a pretty good job of handling set. And then I don't know. I feel like that just puts most of these matchups at like a slightly even or advantageous state for Cylakats.
And then especially, into the late game, you get much more of a scaling comp from Cylakats. So they'll just get overrun by scaling.
Yeah.
Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
Is the stream loading okay for you?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. We could see some shenanigans here. If Gouldog's up for the ward, Jonah might be able to collapse on him, but it's like a level 1 Shyvana, so I don't really know how much you're getting out of that, but maybe Valor will be able to get some first strike gold. Drop the ward, Valor just stays where he is. They trade wards. It's pretty standard.
I believe that Closeted Furries is the only team really known for somewhat consistently going for it. I don't think either of these teams have in the past shown that they have, although there is only a small sample size of 3 to go off of so far, so there's always room for surprises, but I think both of these teams are relatively calm in the start.
Fair. Cam was pinging the exhaust on the Twitch. I think that's probably a fair thing to point out. It will definitely kind of hamper the ability to snowball through the Samir set lane rather than if he had taken like heal or something. Valor is off to a good start. He's getting the first strike gold. Hits him with the Soraka sippin' tea. This is fine emote. Hopefully that is the attitude that Michaela has to this lane, because playing into a Victor as a shorter range champion that doesn't have like actual one-shot dive burst potential just generally feels bad.
Right. Alright, looks like we have both supports fighting for vision control in the bot lane. Lulu manages to get the Asma range support, although they're both contesting level 2 and peers. It's hard for me to not focus my commentary on bot lanes, since that's where I
Yep. I will say, okay, yeah. Dave does not manage to get a stun, but should be able to pick up the kill onto Noam. That's kills traded. Silico should be able to win this fight because of the exhaust, and Samira level 1 is not particularly strong. He gets the level up. I don't know. Okay, yep, Flash E secures the kill. That's a double kill to the Twitch early in the game. That's huge. I will also say I misspoke. Yeah. I misspoke earlier in the game. I said top lane is an even matchup. Mordekaiser kind of slams Ornn. I simply forgot that we had to salvage that set was in the support role. Mordekaiser is able to just pop ulti when Ornn ulti emits, and then protects his team from the 5-man engage, and he should just be able to win out because he does well generally into tanks. So
I simply
Hopefully
default
Russ will have some good plays.
to knowing nothing for top lane matchups every time I pass. So I just I'm the yes man for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Russ appears to be playing this pretty well. He has a good CS lead, and when the lane's kind of sitting like this, slow pushing in, you're able to get a lot greater of a CS advantage by simply just pressuring the Warren off the wave. Jonah's playing towards topside, which is really good. Always ganking a Mordekaiser before 6 is what you want to see. Joey gets him knocked up in the air. Jonah might be able to get this kill.
Oh, the
yep,
flash
okay.
away. All right, now we have Wukong passing up towards Scuttle. Looks like they're going to meet. Wukong is definitely a bit healthier, but not by much. Although retreating on once they see Shyvana heading.
Yep, the Hex Flash is being channeled here. They're trying to go for Noam, who's still only level 1 on Lulu. Just going to note, 6 flashes are down around the map. The top and jungle flashes were burned more recently, and the bot lane flashes are going to be back up a bit sooner.
The Mimaw's Kittens bot lane going for some vision in the other jungle. Although I don't believe that ward will spot Shyvana if she plays around its potential.
Well, Shyvana is back up here again, looking for another kill onto Russ before he hits that level 6 threshold. Is able to get it.
Oh my goodness.
This is definitely an easy failing to have if you're playing Mordekaiser, because you know that you're going to win your matchup, and your champ is really safe, but you're not actually safe until level 6. So if you don't play respectful of the jungler in those early levels, it's really easy to get kind of manipulated and lose your advantage.
We have some bot prio from Mimaw with Wukong in the bot lane, heading for what looks like a lane gank. Although with the red side pushed back their turret, this might be a bit of a time sink for Wukong, depending on how they play the wave.
Yeah, I mean, they'll expect the set to be in the bush, but they probably will not expect the Wukong. They also, important to note, that they have double boots for Mimaw's bot lane, which allows them to play pretty aggressively. They're forced to rely on basically only their base damage for kill threat, but it'll be hard for the Cylakats to get away from whatever engage that they offer. And now Noam's going to be walking right up into gold here, and they need to pull the trigger right now. Noam should just fall instantly. Jonah's here to cover, but I think Silco just needs to tail it out there and try not to die.
Right, that was a lot of time spent in the bot lane, but it did secure a kill. However, we have Victor in the bot river. We have Shyvana, so it's not a guaranteed drag it off of it, so it's a lot of time for just one kill. Although we looks like we have a lot of people converging in the bot lane. I'm not sure if we're going to see anything or if it's just going to disperse outwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's also important to keep in mind that getting Samira fed is kind of this team's win condition, so it's okay to spend a lot of time trying to get her fed in particular.
Right. Looks like we have Noam roaming a lot, which we'd seen a lot on his engage supports. But on enchanters where levels do matter a bit more, you could see with the Twitch level 5 though, and Lulu level 3, the experience differences already potentially starting to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, I will say throughout the course of the season, Noam has been rotating a lot, even on enchanter supports. So I don't think this is something that we should really be surprised about, but I think it is important to kind of note that he is going to be at a level deficit, especially when this Lulu ulti comes down a bit later. I mean, at this point, he's caught up to the Samira in the set, basically, but if we have to wait long for that level 6 Lulu for the ultimate to come through, that could be pretty rough.
Right, looks like we have Lulu said passing through the dragon, but not fast enough.
Yeah, if you're playing like an early game composition like Mimaw's, it is really important to secure early drakes, especially because that allows you to kind of mitigate the weakness of your comp in the late game. So the fact that they dedicated all that time to get a kill in the bot lane and weren't able to pick up a drag off of it is just rough.
Yeah. We have Nom rotating to get the wave under mid. I don't think there's anything of a play here for Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, if Victor's shoved up the tower looking to get a base off, and they don't know where Wukong is on the map, it's nice because it allows Valor to kind of walk up aggressively towards tower and throw down like the rest of his abilities without being threatened by the Wukong. Valor's been doing a really good job of poking to get the farm as well as the first strike proc. He... Actually, never mind, there's a fight going on top lane. The Mordekaiser ult could come out here, but it looks like because the trade didn't go favorably for him immediately, he's not going to look to all in. Victor is at negative 150 gold right now, but he did base on about like 2.6k, which is pretty huge. Jonah and Cylakats are sitting on the most gold in the game right now, and Jonah has not backed on most of it. But he is top lane, probably looking for another kill onto the Mordekaiser.
Right, although with the ultimate this time, so it will be harder to 2v1 the Mordekaiser.
Yep. Okay, Mordekaiser ulti is down. Russ can kind of tell that he's there, but it looks like Joey might just kill Mordekaiser through the ultimate. Jonah actually misses and burns another flash to get a kill. Those are flashes traded again between Russ and Jonah. And Gould kind of just has to pack his bags and go home. There we go. Dave's able to go in and get the double stun. Cylakats barely falls there, but has to get the Samira flash in order to make it happen.
Getting a slight shutdown from Switch from...
Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot because that's a kill on Samira for a kill on Lulu, whereas the earlier trade ended up in 2 kills onto the Lulu. But early Rift Herald's picked up for Cylakats, which is kind of like cementing their control on the objectives this game.
I just noticed the
this should be a kill.
on Samira.
Yeah. Dave is here, but Valor flashes early enough to get himself out. And this might be a kill onto the set, but they walk both of them almost into the true damage, but that's a double kill picked up for Jonah. This Siobhan is terrifying at this point.
This, yeah, as someone who's going to be...
Oh my gosh, Gould goes in, hits the double knockup, and walks the wrong way.
Oh.
And might die anyway.
Of Jonah's Shyvana, I cannot say I'm envious of Mimaw's Kittens in this position.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
it really looked like Gould would have been able to pick up both.
ED Shyvana.
Yeah. Yeah, he should just transition into a tank mythic afterwards.
Right.
Joey's been doing a really good job of just hitting the unstoppable during Russ's pulls. Just shows that he definitely understands how his champion works. He's doing a really good job of kind of mitigating the bad matchup, but obviously Jonah being able to play towards a strong side top, assuming that Gould will be playing towards strong side bot, definitely helps that out.
Right. Alright, it looks like we have the junglers pathing in opposite directions. Although it does appear that Samira set bot lane is going to be shoving up, so I'm not sure how much Wukong's be able to get there unless it's a lane gank dive.
I mean, currently the wave is pushing in, but Dave goes in, just gets a stun. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything off of this. Cylakats pops ulti, Cam has to get away. Even though the true damage hits, that should just be a kill onto Dave there. The poison takes aren't going to be enough here. No one with the flash Q. And gets it with the E. Gould's mid lane, that's a flash, Tibbers, and Valor just dies there. Well played by Michaela.
The Blade of the Ruined King on the Twitch is it's really strong. I know it's the current rush item.
Yeah. No one burns the ultimate just to secure this. Jonah can probably just dive this, but the amount of value that they get here without having to dedicate anything for the dive is still huge.
Wukong is going to pick up the Twitch here, I believe. Oh, actually, Lulu is going to not make it out of time.
Cylakats might die here as well.
Oh. We have the Twitch invisibility, but I don't think with the
Yeah, he's going to get revealed.
Yeah, that was a bit of a greedy play, a bit of miscommunication potentially by Cylakats bot lane there, with one of them bagging one of them going for plates.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just rough if they didn't know the monkey was coming, but...
Right.
Good job from Gould to capitalize off of an originally bad situation. They are trying to go for this dragon, which I don't think they have any right to do, with Valor and Jonah both having ulti here. Jonah's able to pick up a kill, and that should just be the second one picked up on the set as well. Cam might be able to get something off the back of this, but I want to see Cylakats just turn and burn on Dragon here.
Right. Oh, it looks like Shyvana doesn't know Smite, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't matter because they took out the other jungler.
It looks like we have an engage from Horn here. Mordekaiser ult, I don't... Okay. Oh, Mordekaiser ult is not up.
Yeah, neither ulti is up.
Because if Mordekaiser ult was up there, he would have just snatched him away and got me kill probably. But I suppose he gets technical that better than I, even though it's on my screen.
Yeah, Valor's sitting on about a 1,200 gold lead, with neither mid laner having any kills. It's just a bit of a farm and first strike difference. Cam goes in, Dave flashes and isn't able to get anything there. Cylakats should be able to just kill him.
This Bork is...
Set regen is actually enough to keep him alive through the passive, but yeah, it's really critical to not let the Twitch get fed early, because as soon as the Twitch gets enough damage to just gun you down while you're trying to kill him, it's a pretty doomed situation for you.
Looks like we already have a 6k gold lead with 2 dragons on Cylakats, who are the scaling comp. However, if I feel like, you know, a good fight from both Kittens can swing the momentum, and honestly, I feel like momentum plays a very, very big part in these games, especially with the mental of certain players.
Yeah. Joey might be able to pick up a kill here. Looks like he's just going to walk out. He should be able to kill with the ultimate, but I think he's probably going to hold off on ulting until he gets ulted. Valor is looking for a kill here, but he might get picked off by the rest of the team. Yeah, that's a kill top lane, and Valor should die here in the mid lane as well. Actually, Jonah goes in, hits both champions with the ultimate. Dave is trying to blow up Valor, but Jonah's able to just save him.
Shyvana just doing so much damage already with these 7 kills.
Flashes the wall. Jonah looking for the projectile. Gets him. That hitbox is so stupid.
Of course. Yeah, who didn't expect that? Only someone with base running. We have a 20 CS lead in the bot lane. Switch is up 2 kills. The Shed has been trying to make plays around the map.
Well, Cam tried to get something done there. It's just gonna die. The Tivers comes down. You just get ulted by Lulu. Flashes to secure that kill. This game is over. That's a 10k gold lead at 16 minutes.
For the scaling team, yeah. I mean, we could just honestly chalk this one up to draft diff, I think.
Yep.
I think that, you know, Mimaw's Kittens didn't really have a game plan to even play towards. Aside from the Samira, which is just, I mean, not the strongest champion right now anyway.
I mean, and she doesn't even have her mythic at like 16 minutes. If you're trying to play through that, it's pretty rough. I think part of it is that we have the early Dirk, which is like...
Yeah, it was a Dirk rush, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I get the concept, especially if you are getting fed, but it was...
I mean, hitting shield bow on Samira early is just too good to delay IMO.
It's definitely viable on certain champions. However, Samira is not one of the first ones you think of.
Yeah, Draven.
Right, Draven.
Maybe just Draven. Misfortune in certain situations.
I know it used to be a thing on Kindred. I don't know too much about Kindred builds currently.
No, please don't. Just don't build lethality on Kindred, period. Cylakats just getting another kill here. I don't know. Mimaw's Kittens are just not allowed on the map at all here. Cylakats looking for another kill under tower. I think this one's dangerous because Tivers is about to be up. Joey's positioned really aggressively here. I don't know if he has a safe way out. He does have the flash to get over the wall, but he's just going to walk through tower because it actually does not damage him at all. Yeah, but this is the Rift Herald dropped. This might push into the base and get an in-hit turret, but
to see the Swifties on set, because obviously generally on mobility support or roaming supports you generally see mobility boots. However, I personally am of the opinion that mobility boots, obviously they're very good for roaming, but as soon as you get hit, they become useless. So I actually really like the Swifties.
Yeah, I mean, generally they're what you see get built on the set because the
Right.
set doesn't want Mobies because it's not as much about the roaming. It's just when he pops the Hex Flash, gets the Nimbus Cloak move speed, he just wants to run as fast as possible, and anything that'll slow him down, especially with the amount of slows with Twitch and Lulu, he needs the slow resist to be able to continue running on top of them to get a play done.
Right.
The dragon stacking for Cylakats is just making the Shyvana even stronger. She's already 8-0-1, and she's got 3 dragons worth of stacks on her passive. Might pick up the next one in about 4.5 minutes, which could be the 25-minute Infernal Soul.
So it looks like we finally have Mythics on the support. We have Chemtech and Shirelian, but nothing on the Annie. And obviously Twitch doesn't have a Mythic, but that's just how it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to go for the Kraken next.
Right.
Normally, you see the Kraken come out second, but with how melee range the other team is, the Runan's second is actually a really good buy.
I feel like we are one fight away from potentially seeing the end of this game. Maybe it happens on top of us there. And, we have a QSS on the Twitch, so no Mordecai's wells for him.
Yeah, I mean, low-key, if it were me, I would just not buy the QSS. I'd just straight up gun
Melt
down the Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
If the Chem Tank got popped there to basically no results, this should just be a free Baron for Cylakats. If Mimaws can look for like some sort of play while they've all taken damage from Baron, that could be how they flip this game, but it's really tough for them to go for that. But it might be the call they have to make. Gould's sitting on a ward there. Valor just drops the control ward just to make sure he knows. Arnold is coming down.
Victor.
Yeah, so the Baron's secured, and that's a kill down onto the opposing jungler. Jonah goes over the wall, just absolutely pops the set.
This year going on Twitch, not.
Yeah, Lulu ult makes sure he's not going to die. Clean 5v0 ace. TP going down to bot lane from Joey. And that appears to be an FF.
Ooh, alright.
Fair.
It looks like Mimaw's Kittens is calling blue side again.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think the side is good. I think first picking Samira maybe not as good.
I'm curious. I kind of want them to talk me through that first draft at some point. Because I feel like there was an idea there somewhere. It just, I don't know if it got disrupted or if that was the idea. Which I mean, knowing this team,
that may have been the idea.
It seems like Michaela is quite upset with it. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. The Lux ban I think was kind of like the nail in the coffin there because if that doesn't happen, then like maybe you're able to get like longer range because Lux can threaten Victor
right
enough, but you just like have no range and you have no scaling. If Samir doesn't get ahead early, it's just rough. Like I don't know. Can you check? Can you check if they set a time for draft?
Yeah, I'll ask.
Okay. Because I'm going to try to update the data so we have updated statistics for the next game.
Right. Surely they were on to me. Surely they were having a conversation. I said something and they don't stop talking.
Yeah, that game was honestly just like a hard stomp. I think MVP that game goes to Jonah.
Jonah.
Yeah, I mean, him and Silico both kind of played out of their minds, but yeah, it's like Silico gets mad respect, obviously, because he played into the lane that the other team was focusing on trying to get ahead. But
Right.
Jonah just, I don't think, really made any mistakes that game at all.
Right.
Whereas Silico, I guess, died a couple times, but it's not like you can really like fault that level of gameplay. But Jonah just kind of roamed around the entire map, got everyone advantages. It was really nice to see that type of gameplay from him.
Like I feel like potentially without the Ganks top, I mean, like you were saying, the Mordekaiser or matchup would have been a lot tougher. So they were able to transition smoothly with the bot lead and the mid lead, with the top side of the map as well. I feel like if Jonah had just focused on farming and not gotten the top lane ahead, it could have been a bit tougher. Again, I think that it wasn't necessarily the largest factor. The mid to late game Shyvana team fight was definitely very strong, but having the Ornn be strong as well during that time, I think was
Yeah.
definitely a
Yeah, I
think
agree with that. I think also the fact that he was able to flip the one matchup that might not have been in their favor originally
right.
is also good.
Right, 7:45 drift.
Okay, what time is it now? 7:42. Yikes.
3, yeah. I gave them 5 minutes and then they responded like 3 minutes later.
Base. Big.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hoping that I'm able to get everything in quick enough. Place files with the same name. Unselect.
Unless game 2 is incredibly long, it seems like their worries of ending after 10 are
Yeah,
not going to be a
I
big
hard
issue.
agree. All right, I'm gonna just run through the player highs real quick. Some of these should be
Right.
slightly updated. Joey's is basically the same. Cam is basically the same as well. The champs have Valor's swapped from Anivia to Victor. I believe that's the only change. And Joey's swapped from Cho'Gath to Ornn. And the stats on the Shyvana are now better than the stats on the Lilia. So nothing too surprising besides just like the swap over here. And then Dave Silico stats still haven't changed because they didn't actually play against each other. So we should be able to just hop directly into draft. Yeah, that game was just a little bit rough, I think. They tried to do a little for funning with the draft, it seems like, and they just, I don't know. You just can't do it into a team that's this coordinated and
Right.
kind of skilled at macro and team fighting, like the Cylakats are.
I think it's gonna be interesting. I feel like we're likely gonna see the Shyvana ban. Or personally, I'm trying to put myself into their headspace. Because I know after I had a very similar experience with that Shyvana, I definitely did not want to see it ever again. But I feel like their draft again, since they do have first pick again, I feel like we really don't need to see the Seraphine ban from Mimaw Kittens.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. We can just
Draft
replace
is
it with
started.
Shyvana, yeah. So I'd like to maybe see like Lilia, Shyvana from them, and then I forget what the last thing that they banned, like Yone.
It was Yone, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to see first pick Samira. I think it's bad. Like I don't really even have like any like caveats to put on that. I just think it was bad, and I think it directly resulted in poor performance for their team. They can do a lot better if they pick better champions. I think I'd like to see the Vi Swain bands come back. Forget what that last one was.
Okay, we have this Samir ban.
Wait, there's no shot they just straight up banned Samira. Are they like this? Are they this terrified of Silico's Samira?
I mean, I've seen it. It's a bit of a menace. I want to say it's a bit, more of a self-flagellation for the first game.
I don't know. Like I trust Silico to be good on the champion. I just don't think the champion is good.
Oh,
Period.
the
Okay,
Twitch over
they
the.
leave the Shyvana up. Twitch is
Looks like they
banned.
disagree on the MVP of last game from us. However, I can see the Twitch as well. Although I think that without the Samira first pick, I don't. Okay, yeah, this is expected.
Okay, here we go. Finally, we are picking a good champion on Blue One. Absolutely insane.
Don't
The
be alarmed.
Soraka was the other band. So Cylakats just kept all three of theirs the same. Yeah, I mean, I think Twitch over Shyvana ban makes sense because I think Twitch is straight up just a better champion than Shyvana is.
Mm.
But I also do want to see this. I want to see them run that Shyvana back.
Right.
Because clearly Mimaw did not have an answer for it. We could see something other than the Wukong to try and take advantage of it, but we'll have to see.
I think we're gonna see a support pick here. Personally, or at least because I mean you don't want to blind your solo lanes and
Right. I mean, Seraphine could also be mid.
Mhm.
Rick Khan makes sense. He's able to kind of weave away from Seraphine ultis and is just a good champion for Noam's playstyle.
Right.
I don't know if he's like good enough to pick this early in the draft, but I'm not upset with it at all, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely see the potential of the pick. I think it's very fitting for Noam, and I think it's safer than any other lanes. I mean, there are safer supports to have picked, but
Okay, Set gets picked up. I mean, not Set, Ornn. I think it makes sense that Ornn's borrowed here. Both players play a lot of it, and he's simply just a really good champion right now and offers a lot in 5-stack games. So he also kind of synergizes well with Seraphine. They both want to do the same thing, get to late game, have like really strong team fighting ultimates. And it looks like Diana's locked in. This is a new response to the Shyvana. Joey apparently is very willing to play either side of the Set Ornn matchup. He agrees with me that it's pretty even and just locks that right into the Ornn. I love to see this level of confidence.
I feel like we're definitely going to see some. We may see the monkey ban.
I don't want to see it because I think Diana's already locked in there. Actually, I guess Cam can play the Diana mid.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that. Yep.
It's been a while since it's like been better than jungle.
Yeah, I mean, he played it recently, did a really good job. I think this kind of puts pressure on Valor to play something that can beat it. They also do have 2 bans to throw at Valor to kind of take it away. I think this also means that the Seraphine's almost definitely in the bot lane. I would assume it's going to be Michaela playing it, but I think the champion is better in the AD carry position.
Statistically, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're playing Seraphine, she should be getting farm. Personally, but I'm fine if they do it the other way.
Right.
Looks like Ahri's taken away. I know Cam plays a lot of Ahri, but
this might just be a comfort ban coming from Valor. I personally can't speak to matchups or anything or these particular players with that, but
yeah, for Cylakats' sake, I hope that they realize it's at least has a possibility of being Diana mid.
Right.
I honestly don't know if these Yasuo and Victor bans are like things that counter Diana. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Victor probably would not counter Diana, but I think Yasuo might. I'd assume you'd want some sort of like bruisery champion to beat up Diana, so I think it makes sense. Tristana's picked up early for Silico. She did just get buffed. I know she hasn't been like super prio in like pro play, but obviously they're patches behind, so I don't know if that's up to date with the current meta. Ezreal's picked up in trade for Trist.
This is where they have to solidify.
Like my favorite matchup of all time. But whatever.
This is where they solidify the flex. Yeah, okay. So it is
okay, and then Jarvan gets locked in. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why you hold the jungle pick for that late in the draft unless you're worried that the Diana was going to get banned. Just because it's not like some crazy counter pick. Like Jarvan does
Right.
not bring that much to the table that other champions wouldn't really be able to bring. Um, Worth
I
noting
think
that
it's just
statistically, Jarvan is one of Shyvana's best matchups, but the Yone
I,
into the Diana should be spicy.
Mm.
I think it's similar enough to the Yasuo that it should probably do the same thing. And if they're scared enough of the Yasuo to ban it, the Yone getting banned makes sense also. But yeah, definitely not a big fan of the Ezreal lock-in into Trist. Trist should just be able to bully him off. The one thing that I think Ezreal gets here is that he's able to kind of maneuver around the Rakan pretty well. And
right.
when Tristana goes in with her huge dash, she has a little dash to kind of create some more distance, but I don't know. I would have preferred a more like team fighting focused AD carry to
Right,
kind
because
of
I mean,
synergize
with
with the Diana, Ornn, Jarvan, Seraphine. Like a Misfortune would have been
discussing
great here.
right. Um, the AD carry is a bit anti-synergistic with that, but the rest of their team, I mean, that's just. I mean, it's honestly a lot of lockdown. I mean, obviously Diana has the pack a punch, although I have not again been following the meta enough to know if Tank Diana still exists or not. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I'd assume Cam's probably going to play some sort of like AP assassin Diana.
right, which I think is better for this team because you get the Jarvan, Ornn ult, Seraphine ult, and then just tear them down with the Diana.
Yeah, I definitely want to see AP Shyvana instead of Tank Shyvana this game though,
Right.
because their damage is basically all AD. Sure, they have a lot of true damage from Set and Yone, but I'd like to see like just the AP damage threat coming from the Shyvana, so that they can't just stack armor on like Diana, Jarvan, Ornn, and then you just don't do anything.
Right.
This draft is a lot closer than the other draft is for sure. Both teams have a pretty clear identity, even if not all the champions kind of suit or fit in the same identity. They're at least going for something.
Right.
Like Mimaw's kind of has like that wombo combo team fight potential, whereas Cylakats is probably looking to scrap a bit more, find some of these champions caught out and punish them. Tristana, Set, Yone, Shyvana can all like really, really punish single champions that are caught out. So if they're able to pick apart this huge burst for the team fight, that could help a lot.
Right. I think that the Set ultimate will be useful against the wombo combo. If Jarvan ults in, and Set ults him back into his team, dodging the Seraphine ult and the Ornn ults. I feel like there's definitely some plays to be made there. Although that's obviously slightly
Optimistic.
yeah, but there's definitely some potential with that pick. I think that'll be potentially a factor in fights depending on how the lanes go.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would like to see the Set aim to prevent the Ornn second cast from happening or to take the
Right.
Diana out of the fight. It's tough to pull the Jarvan out of the fight because he's going to be in that wall, and Set doesn't have any movement options to get through walls besides just the flash. The Jarvan is kind of rough here because literally every champion besides Set does have the tools to get in and out of the wall, though.
Yeah, that's a bit disgusting now that you mention it. Not something you want to see. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. If Mimaw's Kittens, I feel like if they expend too many resources making picks before big team fights, if they use these big ultimates before then to just get a single kill, I feel like that could be a turning point. I think it's
Yeah,
up to
I
them
mean,
to
I
play
think
either
if
the way
you
they want
use
to.
a bunch of cooldowns to get one, or if you don't use every cooldown to get one kill, I think any sort of combination of lesser amount of ultimates or more than one kill, I think is actually pretty good.
Not a problem.
Right, it's the balancing act, the arithmetic of the rift or something. I like
Something
saying
like that,
words.
yeah.
Words are fun.
I don't know. I'm interested to see the top lane matchup because Joey was very happy to take the Ornn into the Set before, and now he's taking the Set right back into the Ornn. I feel like he's trying to show the I can play both sides of the matchup kind of not like ego thing, but like confidence boosting and kind of like flexing
Right.
his talent.
I think that Cylakats are definitely riding a high after the last game, and they definitely had a lot more fun, considering the FF, than Mimaw. So I think that that's always interesting to see as part of the draft, where the confidence lies in the players. You definitely tend to see more ego picks after. Not that this again isn't necessarily an ego pick.
Yeah, no, I
but you
think it's
definitely
actually Set favored. I like Set in this matchup more. I just think it's funny that he was willing to play the Ornn into the Set before, and then they pick away his Ornn, so he just hits him with the Set. So, fun to see for sure. I'm gonna swap over to some of the new things. Russ is 1-1 on Ornn with a 4.5 KD, which is not anything to laugh at. Joey's also 1-1 with like a bit smaller KD. Jonah, obviously absolutely disgusting on this champion. Gould sitting 1-1, similar KD to the Joey pick. This is like, those are pretty good stats. Same with Cam. Like, these are champions that they're familiar with, are willing to play. So I think it's more important to worry about like compositionally, do they make sense? Because these aren't like insanely comfort champions, but they also like are not champions that these players are not well versed in. Noam unfortunately has lost his only game on the Rakan, but Michaela has a 4.7 KD on the Seraphine.
Why?
On like a 60% win rate over 10 games. So that's kind of disgusting.
Definitely one of the picks she's known for, just crushing on.
Yeah, then everyone else is first timing, so nothing too exciting there. Player matchups, this will have no data for 2 because of role swaps, and then Joey and Jonah both didn't die last game. Russ didn't have any kills or assists last game, and the other stuff down here, Dave and Silico, was from a different game where Dave didn't die. So these are like, low sample size, causing some funny statistics. But rolling back to champ matchups, we actually have not had Ornn versus Set in the top lane in this server, which is actually interesting. It is a pretty common matchup, I want to say. Shyvana Jarvan, I'm not surprised that we haven't seen before. Yone Diana, similar thing. I just don't think certain champions get played enough.
It's with the Diana mostly being a jungle pick.
Yeah, the Trist Ezreal has been played before. It went to Trist. I'm not surprised. It's a pretty good matchup for Tristana. And Seraphine did beat out the Rakan the other time this was played. I'm going to do a quick little nosedive to try and figure out who was playing these. I really want to say that the Trist game versus Ezreal was probably me, but only because I played. Oh, okay. It was actually earlier this season. It was the Kitten Grooming Service versus Closeted Furries game 1. I went 4-0-5 into the Ezreal.
Yeah.
And then the Rakan versus Seraphine game was, oh my god, there's like 49 Seraphine games.
Yeah.
Let me filter by Rakan. Okay, only 9. That's so much easier to handle. That was actually also this season. It was Eric O on Seraphine into Noam on Rakan. So he went 3-5-18, and Noam went 2-7-10. But yeah, that game I think was more of just like everywhere but bot lane was doing pretty good. So Seraphine was able to get the W, which leads me to believe there's more value in the Trist and Ezreal matchup. So I think Trist Rakan's also just good in general.
Ash Seraphine definitely,
yeah,
incredibly strong. Still is strong, but thank God we're seeing it less. But
I think it's still good. People are sleeping on it. They simply just better ADCs.
It's one of those things that people just get bored by, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're also playing in a these are both teams that don't have players who are willing to play either the Seraphine APC or the Ashe support, I think. And I always thought that combo was much stronger with the Ashe support. So I don't think it's dead. I don't think we should be counting it out yet, but I think it's just not necessary in this series to get done what needs to get done.
Right. I think it's one of those things that Seraphine bot lane, Tarek as the champion, where it's always like very good. It's just that people like don't super love playing it, so like it just doesn't get played a lot, unless it's like turbo overpowered. And even then,
I'll also say it's not like there were any really like changes put against it, so
right?
I don't think it's really gotten like nerfed out of relevancy.
Right. Is the game happening? Oh, you switched. Rating? I think. Oh, I see the Ezreal tier start. It's always a little.
Yeah, that's really cocky. I would absolutely not take that into a Tristana engage lane. If you're building tier in a bot lane, it is going to be like a kind of gentleman slow early game lane. You probably do not want to do that into a Tristana. I mean, I hope it works out for him for his sake, but it's definitely greedy. Same words just traded over between teams. No fighting happening. Could have seen the Diana back to kind of clear out vision, but Shyvana is going no leash in all chat. I don't even know if this is true, but
It's not understanding. She's been okay. It seems like they're having a bit of a flying call.
Jarvan versus Blake has some thoughts about picking Jarvan here. May have had similar thoughts, but I didn't voice them. So you know, or I mentioned it, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't as upset as Blake is for sure.
Right.
I also think trapping people with Jarvan and forcing out those dashes so that they can't be used against other ultimates is not terrible. But there are definitely other champions that could do better stuff. They were also completely lying about the no leash, but that is what it is. Valor's playing this early lane really aggressively. This is definitely a champion he's familiar with. So
and with the lethal tempo, it's
yeah,
these slightly longer trades into the AP Diana, much stronger early.
Yeah, we are gonna want to watch bot lane. Okay.
Oh my god!
We actually are going in before level 2, which I don't normally like to see on Trist, but he's able to get the Seraphine pretty low, but isn't able to pick up a kill.
I guess that's they see the tier and they just want to go in. I think that waiting until level 2 potentially could have resulted in a kill.
Yeah, but I mean now Dave and Mimi just have to play completely off the wave, because if they step up, then they'll just go in, because they still have all the sums left, and Dave had to burn heal.
Not sure what's a lot of pings coming from the bot lane. Looks like they might be going for cheese play over a ward, but I don't
Joey gets a stun here. Good trade.
Okay, yeah. With the set
There's just fighting happening everywhere. Where's my LCS triple lane view when I need it, bro?
Oh yeah, they gotta roll out to the masses. Yeah, landing those poke with Ezreal Q. What Ezreal build is it? Conquerors, right? First strike Ezreal. So
okay, Gould's coming behind on Valor. Valor's probably going to look to just trade the kill here. Is able to flash and get away from both, but Gould flashes, should be able to just pick up the kill. He gets the dash over the wall. He's out!
Oh my god.
Valor played that so well. Exactly what he needed to do there. Cylakats and Noam are actually... Okay, they were down a level, now they're not anymore, but...
And they still have they still have all 4 summoner spells, whereas Ezreal dropped the heal.
Yeah, I think them going for that play at level 1 was definitely a bit unfortunate. It's possible that they'll be able to kind of mitigate it, but now Ezreal has both a lot of damage and his E to kind of get him out.
Right. Oh, looks like we have Shyvana.
Jonah... It looks like neither jungler... Okay, Gould got smite up and then used it, so they were able to protect their buff.
Yeah, looks like Shyvana just wants to get out of there. Top jungle. Unfortunately, wasn't able to heal the buff, but didn't much for it as neither for camps or up like the Grom.
Yep. Alright, Noam went in, it got rooted. This might be a kill onto Noam. The exhaust comes down, but there's no explosive charge available for the Trist. It just came up, but that's going to be a double kill for Mimaw's bot lane.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know if Silica doesn't have much practice on the Tristana with Noam, but the communication here has not been very good. Especially with the Tristana lane, you need to make sure that when you're going in, the Tristana has all the tools available to grab the kill.
Right, with two such mobile champions, there needs to be very, very good communication between the lane partners.
Yep.
In order to get anything done without flubbing it.
I mean, whenever you're going in with a Tristana needs to have her W and E available to grab the kill. And the Q is definitely nice to have also. And both times Noam has gone in, Silico has not had the correct resources available to finish off the kill.
Looks like we have Rakan getting vision on Dragon. Losing under a bit of experience while Tristana is shoving the wave, but...
This should be an early drag for Cylakats, which is good to help out the Shyvana. Also, early Hextech just helps out combat a lot. You have the better attack speed and haste. Looks like Shyvana is rushing Bommies this game instead of Bork, so we could see a more AP-oriented build, probably like a Demonic Embrace or something coming out.
Right. Okay.
Looks like the top jungle for Cylakats have a pretty strong lead, whereas the rest of their map is a bit behind. They're down 800 gold, 900 goldish, but they have the dragon to kind of mitigate it, which is worth around 1,000 gold in terms of stats. I think they also just buffed them, so maybe it's like slightly better than that, but I don't know. They're not bleeding too many resources out, but they definitely need to kind of get back. They need to obtain a lead, I think, not before the game goes on for too long, because they do get outscaled by the Ornn and like the Ezreal and stuff. Noam is struggling to get anything done into this Ezreal. Dave is playing around the... Dave is using his shift really well. Valor should be able to get back out here. He got ignited though, so Cam should be able to pick up the kill.
Oh, I think one more Q might have...
Yeah, I think anything would have killed the Diana.
Unfortunate for Valor.
Yeah, I mean, Cylakats just has to hope that the Shyvana and Set are going to be able to get enough done to kind of carry this game.
Right, we have Tristana taking the Grom, starting to expedite the process of gold in any way they can. Although taking a beating from it, almost half the health bar after the hump, the Grom. Although, so it looks like we have Shyvana hoping to make a play bottle with Jarvan around. Yeah, they just get out of there.
I mean, with these Ezreal lanes, or not with these Ezreal lanes, but these Trist lanes, if Trist is not able to get a kill early, or at least have the threat of getting a kill, you lose a lot of value, because what she's really good at is she's kind of able to prevent hyper carries from getting a lot of CS early in the game. Right. And if you're down in CS and you don't have any kills, you're not doing the best job of that, so it makes me wonder if the Tristana pick was the best thing they could have done here. Valor actually picks up a tower shot, which makes him not be the winner of that trade.
And then looks like we have the Rakan and the Jarvan in the first and mid lane. However, with the Yone so low, I think they mostly disengage. I think happens. Looks like Shyvana is also coming. Shadow potentially no. Heading down to get.
Yeah, Valor could maybe go for something here. He does have the ulta available. Looks like Rush is dash into a wall. Jonah might go over the wall, but Cam gets vision and spots this out. It's also the same play they kind of ran for last game. Jonah's a level down on the Jarvan. I'm not sure if this is a fight he exactly wins. Yone and Rakan are all here though, so they could just group and try and get some plates over to the Yone.
Tristana is also heading upriver.
Yeah, I mean, they could just all be collapsing for the early Herald fight, but I don't know if they're really going to get contested for it. Actually,
Right,
it looks like, yeah, the Ezreal's left down on the bot side of the map, and everyone else seems to be grouping around the Herald. Could see a fight break out over it. Russ is walking down, chooses not to. I wonder if the call is to just give over the Herald then? Gould goes in and steals it. Really well played. He has not picked up the eye yet. He flashes for the eye, and now Russ is here. Is able to hit 2 with his ulti, I think. That's a kill going over to both sides. And Russ flashes over the wall. He's just out. So that's even trade for kills, but Ezreal gets farmed down on the bot side. And Jonah's able to flash out of here. Okay.
Getting the buff. Able to trade without
Triumph.
Very, very, very close. Wow.
Okay, well, I was going to conclude that that was a very Mimaw's Kittens favor, but I think that's actually just like an even play.
Right, I mean,
overall.
with the Herald taking this goal in, definitely a bit unfortunate, but
Yeah, I mean,
they were able to claw back.
Cylakats was behind, and now they're going to be behind about the same amount given the gold value from the Rift Herald.
Right.
So. Mason, the king in general chat, is defending the Jarvan, as I did as well. So. Hey, Mason agrees with me. Draft king himself.
Yes.
It looks like another early dragon is going over to Cylakats though. They're looking to trade a kill onto Valor for it, but
I mean, Tristana is getting a lot of solo time in the bot lane. We have the level 5 Recon not even having the ultimate yet. The only one on the map with that.
Maybe Gould will get another Smitesil here. Cam is getting tossed around like a rag doll. Ends up dying. 3-man singing song, man. Jonah is getting low, does not ultimately die. Silico's getting resets. That's a double kill. He keeps going. Noam is probably going to fall to the Ezreal. Silico should probably get a 3rd kill on the back this here. He flashes over the wall. Silico also flashes to stay away from the Ornn. Yone hit the ultimate, and that is 4 kills to, I believe, 1. And they might be able to pick up Dave here on the back of it.
Hopefully without. Oh, and the Yone.
And they give it over to Trist. So that is, I believe, 5 kills to 1 and an early dragon. I think they just flipped this game on its head. Well played to Cylakats here.
I think that this is okay. We now have the reconnaissance after the kill experience there, which you have to see. I think that with the reconnaissance in that fight, it could have gone, even further in the side of Cylakats. However, fights in the future with that ability.
Cam is caught in a not great position here, but he might be able to get out. Burns the flash to do so. 4 mythics picked up. Both junglers and both AD carries have their mythics here.
Mason with the insightful commentary of the draft being sussy among us.
So true. Yeah, Cam, I was doing really well in lane and is now suddenly behind almost 30 CS. I'm not entirely sure what happened to cause that, but...
Right, I think it was the Riptail fight. He spent so long waffling in and out because of his low health bar.
Yeah.
That...
Valor turns directly from gold and tries to get a kill onto Cam, but did not quite get it. Noam able to hit Michaela, but doesn't actually have any follow-up. But you gotta respect the hustle, man. The Rift Herald finally getting dropped after plates went down, and might not even make it to tower, low-key. Okay, it does because the eye goes away as it's charging, but only gets half a tower, which doesn't actually do anything for them.
Right.
So that Rift Herald play, I think, actually is ending up in Cylakats' favor overall.
Yeah, especially with, the Triumph rock saving the Shyvana. I think that kill on Dana would have been very, very helpful in keeping Cam ahead.
Yep.
instead of the Owen being now 3-1. Although that was obviously right, but you know, it's about the momentum partially as well.
Someone tell Jonah to get the good Shyvana skin, please. Holy Ice Drake is so ugly. Insightful commentary, I think.
So we have the, I guess, kind of the opposite of last game, where I mean, Jonah is still, 0 deaths, a lot of KP, but where Jonah got all of the kills last game, this game is mostly assists, getting the kills instead on the Yone and the Tristana, which is in this circumstance much better. But really, it's interesting seeing him play more of a supportive playstyle than just like spitting bombs at people.
True. I mean, it's definitely different when you have the Frostfire first instead of the Bork first, because you're doing a lot less damage. The next drag's going to be up in about a minute 30. Looks like they're trying to get vision early. They both go over the wall into Gould, but Gould can just EQ away. I'm not sure if this is the play there. No flash for the charm. Gould has no more tools available. Valor's going deep. Is able to knock him up. But Valor's going right back into the turret, just dashes out with the Q3 empowered, and he is able to get to safety. I mean, Cam just has to sit there and watch his teammate die.
Like we were saying with the Jarvan ult, these guys just have so many dashes and disengages that it really didn't do anything. I mean, obviously usually a very good tool in preventing a dive, but when Yone can just E out, like, it's effectively useless aside from the damage.
Yeah. Joey has been very silently playing this game really, really well.
Yeah.
Huge CS advantage. There's a fight going out. Valor's able to escape the Seraphine ulti. Silco getting so much damage down. Hops in, reset. He doesn't get the kill.
Oh, the shield.
Never mind.
Well played from Michaela using that.
That was nuts.
You got it all far.
Well, I had already committed to saying she got the reset. It never happened.
I mean,
and they're able to pick up the second Rift Herald. Gives a nice gold split to the participating members.
It wasn't a flash, it was just the dash. You don't get the reason to you just walk away there.
Yeah.
These two champions, Ezreal and Tristana, both have that advantage.
Yeah, Jonah's about to have ulti back up. That should be very terrifying. Does not pull the trigger onto Dave there because he knows he just has the Arcane Shift to get away if needed.
Looks like we don't really have anyone in the bot lane in either team. Ezreal... Okay, it's just sitting in the neutral state for a while teams are gathered mid fighting for Dragon.
This third Dragon for Cylakats would be pretty dooming, I think. It obviously doesn't seal the game as much as the Soul itself does, but it kind of puts an onus on Mimaws to have to fight every single dragon in the future.
Yone has the eye. Eventually going to drop that before rotating to the Dragon.
Yeah, I'd hope he does. Yeah, this should just be a free mid turret. If Cam leaves, that's pretty much just giving up the other turret as well. So it looks like he's going to stay and defend, which should just give the Dragon over to Cylakats. Valor's going on a flank. They had vision of him right now, but didn't until then. Valor is not going to actually get anything out of that. He ults out, which simply distracts them long enough for his team to pick up the Dragon, I think. That's an 800 gold shutdown onto Cam, which is huge. This Dragon take is still going, but they're able to pick it up finally. Now with the 4k gold lead and some Dragons, Shyvana gives the Dragons extra value. So I'd probably say it's around like a 8,000 gold lead in terms of stats.
The Yone... I guess, in retrospect, Yone flank did not work out as hoped, but I saw where the play was going, and, from Valor, the Herald first definitely helped make the play, but unfortunate turnout, although obviously, especially with Shyvana, the Dragon, for it's 800 gold, but...
Right, no, I mean, the 800 gold's rough. I think if he did not have a shutdown, that is, better.
Right.
But
especially with the soul point value, it's obviously not the end of the world for Cylakats certainly. But a bit of an unfortunate happenstance.
Yep, hard agree. Okay, but as I was saying earlier, Joey is silently playing this game really well. He's this matchup is slightly favored for him early, but he's doing a really good job. He's had about like a 30 CS lead, and he has not died at all. Of course, now that I start talking about him, he's going to get ganked top. Looks like they actually choose not to, but I don't know.
There's both players around the top side, although...
I mean, he's held this Ornn, he's prevented him from having like a huge level lead, and that's going to delay those late game power spikes and stuff. Warren might actually not have enough gold to even buy Sunfire before he gets the upgrade. No one walks into 3 people, simply just backs out. Walks in,
very
walks
well.
out.
I mean, dodging the Seraphine ult, very smooth there. Or the E.
Yeah, I was going to say, no ult burn there.
But
Valor might end up losing this one. I think if he had burned ulti, he had a chance, but he'd rather just lifesteal up off the minions before going for anything.
oh, looks like it's going to be a... Wait, is Giant's belt? That's demonic, right? Or am I...
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, that's what we should be expecting with Shyvana, especially after she's bought the Sorcerer's Shoes. Okay, and then Jonah does pick up the demonic this game. Has the most farm in the game, is pretty strong. Gould goes on to Valor here. I think Valor might be able to trade 1-for-1 at best, but Diana just lights him up. Well played by Cam.
Similarly happened previously. I could be wrong. Valor really likes those Krugs.
Yep. I mean, last time he was just running away and ended up in the Krug pit, but this time he was just going for Krugs. Bit unfortunate for him that Gould just kind of dropped the EQ over, but it is what it is. Oh, and Jonah has tried to pick off Michaela here. Doesn't quite get it immediately. The charm comes down. Noam getting a knockup, but they're split. They're not focusing on one person in particular. Cylakat's able to get a fight in the back line. Jonah picks up a kill, and Noam is getting out here. Cylakat should just be able to space. Doesn't quite have the leaf. Oh, Cylakate flashes into a wall. And gets...
no!
Yeah, he should just die here. Dave is able to kill Noam, but gets killed in return by Jonah. Joey is here. He should just be able to dunk the Ornn and get a kill here. Yep. Credit goes to Jonah for that one. Yeah, I will say, Silico did message me and say black out the screen when I die later on in the match. Clip it and ship it, fellas. Oh,
you know,
God.
You don't expect a champion like Tristana to get caught over a wall, but
Yeah.
things like that.
Please, dude, I have a family. Yeah, and this is another objective given over to Cylakats.
I will say during the early game, you know, Gnomes were kind of like a little bit shaky, but you know, once they hit these team fights, really able to force the enemy team to match him, put them on the back foot by making them follow him around the map. It's really been, you know, making the pick work to his advantage. It's always nice to see, you know, a shaky beginning translate to you know, an advantageous big game.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's just like a reflection of his playstyle overall. I feel like whenever I see Noam in a game, I always know that he's going to create really good pressure around the map and make a lot of plays.
Right.
So, not super
He's
surprised to
moving
see
in
that
and out of
happening.
his
Alright,
fight.
fight going. Cam's able to pick up a kill in return. Gould hops in, knocks up 2 people. Cam's able to stopwatch through the ultimate from the Yone, but it looks like he's just going to get picked up. That's 4 for 2, or 4 for 1 right now. 3 for 1. I can't talk, but this is just a pretty easy fight for Cylakats. They're able to pick stuff up. That is an ace. Yeah, that is a like 24-minute soul for Shyvana. That's 4 drags helping her out. A bit unlucky.
Shyvana have CC?
What?
Does Shyvana have crowd control ability?
Yeah, her ulti.
Okay, because that's Thornmail. Like, the stats are but
Yeah, I mean, I think they just have a lot of auto attackers. There's probably better people to buy the Thornmail, but
right, I think that the ACAM Tech Future Fire and the Rakan could do some work.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Thornmail and Bramble apply it differently. The Bramble is simply just getting auto attacked, which is certainly happening to her a lot. Valor might be caught out here. Jonah should be here though. Just turn the fight easily. That's another kill.
Oh, coming down, but I don't.
This might be both. No, I think Rush should be able to just walk this one out.
Yeah, Ornn doesn't take much damage from either of them. at this point with the Dragon Soul, and all of these turrets being taken, it'll be
Alright, huge 1v1 here.
it'll be a tough ask for Mimaw to keep going back into this game. However, if they can get
it's 12k at 25. That is disgusting.
yeah, it's unfortunate for Mimaw is that their wombo combo ultimates again with so many dashes, it's hard to land. Champions like Yone, Rakan, Tristana, so slippery that it's hard to get them all in line.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of them are just simply tanky enough that they don't die even if you do hit everything.
Right.
It's even more unfortunate.
Like you were saying with that set, he's just nothing flashy or anything. It's just slowly getting these leads, pushing the advantages.
Yeah, he's just having a really, really good, although quiet game. He's about to purchase the Titanic Hydra, I think.
Oh, it looks like Noam actually did pick up the Chemtech Fire.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Jonah just has a lot of money, so he's just kind of buying whatever he can. Which, you gotta respect it at least a little.
Seems to be a common theme in Jonah Shyvana games. Another one like the rest, absolutely insane.
I mean, he's
on the
3 CS away from the flame horizon
here. I mean, after last season, Jonah wasn't worth too many points. Roll swapped and now is absolutely dominating the jungle. It's really awesome to see.
It's almost as if the durability patch nerfed all of his champions. Okay, the flash away from the Yone ultimate. Valor might just get stuck without getting any kills here.
Okay.
The Ezreal ulti almost kills him. He gets a lot of damage onto Noam. Cam goes in, that's a huge play. Picks up almost 2 kills. The stopwatch was actually kind of unfortunate there. I don't know why he used it. Russ going in does not have the Ornn ultimate. Cylakats trying to go for this, actually gets caught out by the brittle proc midair. Jonah's trying to go in on the backline, misses everybody. And might just get killed by these 4 members of Mimaw's here. Gould Ghost traps him in the wall, but he flashes out, but this healing is going to make it really hard for him to get anything done.
But it's not working. What? This is the Shyvana champion, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he is sitting on 3 items. I believe no one else in the game is at that threshold. Joey goes in, interrupts the whatever Seraphine ability she just used. He is going for the actual 1v4 that his teammate could not do. We'll see if he's actually able to pick it up. Valor's here to kind of bail him out. I don't know if they're going to be able to get any kills here, but Yone is a very safe champion, so they're able to just walk out. The Ezreal ult is back up, so we could see something go down here. Not entirely sure, though.
It looks like, I mean, we have Baron falling in 30 seconds. I feel like this potentially could be a very similar scenario to the last game, where the Baron comes up and then they just can't handle the waves that come from it.
Yeah.
But, again, a team fight in the Baron pit, you can also, there's a lot of opportunity to wombo come with.
Yeah. I mean, Valor's like about half health here. I believe his shield bow is still up, though, so that's kind of deceiving, but... I don't know. Looks like they're not even in remote position. There's some missing things throwing down onto Jarvan. He's not in position to contest this. They should be able to just walk in and clear this out. Or actually, Elder's spawning in a minute. Looks like they're just going to reset, take the fight on Elder, and then try and end after that.
They just had a lot of money. They want to potentially set some waves straight. And then Yone is shoving into...
Triss is almost on 4 items here. Jonah's also almost 4 items. Joey is pretty strong as well. This whole team just disgustingly fed.
Luckily we have the Hex Drinker on Tristana. Definitely makes sense with the Ezreal of the day, and that's good.
The Seraphine, I think more so than the Ezreal. But
oh yeah.
It's definitely probably just for the though.
Yeah, I think that
she's the only champion that can really just 100 to 0 him right away.
Right with the Enchanter build on Seraphine instead of the Flex. The Enchanter Mage, it does not do much damage. Especially with, one
Alright,
item.
They are starting up the Elder. Noam goes in, unfortunately misses everybody, but
Saving the
Same
ultimate,
with Russ's
though.
ultimate. Oh my god, that's a 3-man
Oh,
Yone
the-
ulti. Is able to get the Seraphine and the back of the fight. Diana goes in, gets a lot low, but isn't actually able to finish anything off. That's a double kill for the Yone. Joey's able to pick something up as well. Kill goes over to Trist, and last kill is given to Shyvana, stolen out mid-air from the set ultimate. Silico is trying to look to take the Elder Dragon, gives up ultimately. Uses one more auto attack to finish the explosive charge, but looks like as a team they've decided they can just simply end the game, so they're going to walk down into the base and should
With this Baron
end a
push,
quick 2-0 in this series. I think less than 50 minutes, or less than an hour of game time total between the two
Right.
games.
Mimaw Kittens did not feel on their A game this series.
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
think-
after that
I
first
think
game,
Ting
it's hard.
Healy is also pretty difficult.
Mhm.
I think he's a pretty core member of their team, and you can feel the loss.
And I think it definitely also messed with their drafts. Healy is quite easy to draft around generally. You know, you've got the 2 or 3 staple picks that
Yeah.
either get banned or picked. I think I don't know. I think the first game draft just kind of, you know, set a tone for the series that they weren't able to quite escape.
I mean, I will just say real quick, shout out to, I believe, both Jonah and Joey not dying the entire series. Props to them. I think MVP for this one has to go to Jonah again.
Nice camp here.
Hi. You guys finished, so now I get to say hello.
Well, we get to
What do you mean, bro? We're still
we
talking.
have a process. We have a process.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a process. I'm
Get
gonna go
bullied.
step
We're
away.
dragging Jonah. He get the MVP.
Oh,
Goodbye.
that's true.
SMH, SMH.
Hello.
All right, Jonah, we have decided that you get the MVP for both games. How do you feel, man?
The Shyvana champion, huh?
Mason would be proud of me. I took PTA.
Nice, nice.
My team wants me to say Bankai. Because we did a lot of screaming that game too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that they did not ban the Shyvana going
Yes.
into the second game?
Yes.
Fair?
Yeah. Me and Michaela were talking about drafts. It was something. We were talking about her Soraka.
Yeah. What were you saying about the Soraka?
She was like, "Can I play it?" And we said no.
But they let you have the Shyvana.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
That's what I said. So I said that you didn't ban a Shyvana, and she said there were too many bans, so they were gonna ban it round 2.
Gotcha. Not gonna lie, a tad confusing. You played really well. I think both you and Joey did not die all season.
Yep.
Or all season.
Yeah. All Scrim.
All series is what I meant to
Yeah.
say.
All series. Yeah.
All right, we have our fellow Zero Deather here. Congratulations, Joey. Good shit.
You?
I know in the first draft you picked the Ornn after the set was already hovered. At that point, did you think it was set support, or did you think you were playing into set top and picked the Ornn as a counter pick?
I was assuming that set was top.
Fair.
Yeah, we had a hard time interpreting their draft.
Yeah, we just kind of sat here
Yeah,
confused for a while after the first one.
Yeah, I think it was after the third pick we were like, hold on. Maybe the set is support.
Yeah.
Thinking they would like,
Well, yeah. I mean, they're like picks. It went like
oh yes, Bankai.
yeah, Bankai. But it was what was their draft? It was like set. It was set, and then Wukong, and then
Samira.
Mordekaiser. Like Samir was first, but then they like picked 3 top laners / junglers back to back.
Yeah, Mordekaiser was the last one of those.
Yeah. Ornn's just a comfort pick, so it's like,
Yeah, that's
take
fair.
whatever you want. I'm playing Ornn and winning.
Right. I mean, what I was trying to get at is you picked the Ornn very willingly into the set, and then picked the set into the Ornn. So just like having the comfort to feel like you can win both sides of the matchup into a player is confidence that I definitely like to see. It's not.
Leafed and voted.
Yeah, it's not like the same as like, you know, typing some stuff in all chat and being like, I'm gonna ego the fuck out of you, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like one of those passive things that you can do to just show your confidence into a matchup. So just wanted to give you a little shout out for that one. This
Thank
one
you.
to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, those early ganks in game 1 from Jonah and Tier Lane,
Oh my
very
god.
very fun to
Oh, yeah.
watch. The
Yeah, I was getting pushed in. And I was just like, oh, Jonah, you wanna gank me? And then
You want to do it again?
yeah, I saw the TP. I was like, yo, let's just do it again. And then the lane was over.
Right. I mean, for Mordekaiser, like getting those early ganks in before 6 is obviously like really huge because he doesn't have like his normal safety tools to kind of force the 1v1, win the 1v1, and then turn the fight. And then because you were able to apply that pressure early, it made it so that Joey could just kind of win the 1v1 anyway inside the Death Realm, which is always good to
Yeah.
see for your team.
I don't know if you saw that, but I hit the insane Orin combo.
The one inside the Death Realm, I think
Yes.
so. Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was
Hey,
fun.
hit the
The,
Yeah,
the,
'cause-
like the like double knockup and all.
Yeah,
Because he was
it's
going for the
good.
gank, and we're like, oh, hopefully, the death round's pretty even, and then he can clean it up afterwards, and then we see that, and he comes out in like a quarter of his health bar, and we're like, oh,
Wait, no, I think
that's-
he killed him in the ultimate.
No,
right?
I killed him.
Yeah.
I can get him. Okay.
Yeah, we were just watching. It was just bong bong. It was
I'm,
bouncing up
Yeah,
and down in the Death
I may
Realm.
have labbed that a little bit.
Yeah.
On the low quality stream from Discord, it was
Right.
it was hard to tell when the death round ended or not. So.
Yeah, I mean it's also just like a weird particle effect, kind of hard to.
Yeah.
It's a fun series though.
I'm sure your
Yes.
team thinks that. Yeah. So it was fun to watch, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
All right, I'm going
Fun to
to
play.
cut stream here, and we can all hop into lobby. Thank you
Okay.
to anyone who was watching.
good.
Was
Yeah.